It'll be Charlotte going right to left, Greenville left to right. And we are underway here for round 2 of Greenville versus Charlotte in 2024.
The top 4 teams in USL League One facing off against each other these next couple of days. Madison Omaha tomorrow on Galazzo. These two squads looking to keep pace with those two teams. Last year we saw those 3 teams breaking away from the group a bit. Will one of these 2 teams join Madison and Omaha? Those 2 teams had such a hot start to the year.
Evan Lee couldn't keep that one in, so gives it up over to the visiting Jacks. Once again, we welcome you in wherever you're tuning in from. Either you're a Charlotte fan watching your team on the road, a Greenville fan who couldn't make it to the game, or an interested third-party observer as the lone USL League One game taking place tonight. Maybe some of you are just riding that Euro high, that international play high of all the fun action that's been happening over in Germany and just need to watch some more footy.
Jealous of these kids off for the summer. Soccer all day, Copa America starting tomorrow. Soccer fans, a beautiful time to be alive.
A lot of people able to enjoy the beautiful sport. Greenville were able to enjoy a 3-1 victory. Last time they played, it was a Jägermeister Cup road match against Tormenta. The game they won 3-1, but it was 1-1 until pretty late in the game, and then a Lion McKinnon brace came along. There's Obregon. They'll dish it out to the right-hand side. Alvarez enters the penalty area. He shoots, and it'll float off target. Luis Alvarez, one of the goal scorers in their victory last Friday.
They found themselves down 2-0 quickly in that game against Red Wolves. Niall Malongo with a brace, but Charlotte fought their way back into that one. It was 2-2, 10 minutes remaining, but 2 late goals to pull off the victory there in the Jägermeister Cup.
Yeah, they down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes of the matchup, and the first of which a pretty catastrophic error
by that man who was just on the ball there, Hugh Roberts. Sloppy back pass. Austin Pack was already screaming out of his goal. Went right past him and tapped in the end by Malongo.
Mike Jeffries described that game as a big character test, but his guys kept their composure and were pretty solid for the rest of that first half. And he mentioned they were playing well, but getting that goal before halftime was really huge for morale. They were able to go into the locker room with a little bit of relief, feeling confident that they'd be able to find the back of the net again, let alone 3 more times, as Lion McKinnon turns on the burners on the other end. McKinnon has Scarlett running, but McKinnon decides to shoot himself, and it's well off target. McKinnon bracing that game against Tormenta. A series that Greenville have gotten the best of. In each match so far this season, they've played 3 times. Rick Wright, the head man for Greenville, mentioned that they've been able to turn it around against them the last 2 games. He felt they were actually outplayed by Tormenta in their first match, but they were still able to come out with a victory. He mentioned they tested them a lot early in that game, got several corner kicks. And they said in the late game, it was Lime to the rescue once again.
Stop and cheer for something.
Looks like Anton Sorensen's getting checked on.
Pretty much an ever-present presence at the left-back spot this season for Mike Jeffries. One thing he was talking to us about in the call is how solid they've been at the back personnel-wise. Make changes elsewhere. Ahead of them, former Philadelphia Union product.
Young left back from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now we're good to keep going again. Jamie Smith plays this one up the pitch. Leo Castro jostling for the ball and draws the foul. It was one-on-one with Nick Spielman there.
Too much contact from the center back. Castro doesn't mind playing with his back to goal, but perhaps not that far away from goal. Spielman tracked with him though.
Tough assignment for Spielman and Hugh Roberts today, but both of them have proven their worth throughout this season, and then Nick Spielman in years past. That'll be a foul on Velasquez. Pilato going down, the former Greenville player.
Yeah, then there's 2 early goals last week in that 4-1 defeat at home against Omaha. Very solid back line so far this season. Limited some very good teams to only a goal or 2. See if they can do the same tonight for this Greenville team, which can be a little up and down on the offensive side of things. McKinnon has obviously been relied upon very heavily. Castro's chipped in well when he's needed to. Just need some goals from elsewhere though, other than those 2.
Yeah, that's always the quandary, isn't it? Would you rather have a unit with evenly dispersed goals, or do you want to have that target guy who's putting them into the back of the net and is feeling really confident? If you want the best of both worlds, obviously you would take the best of both worlds, but if you had to just pick one or the other.
The coaches we talked to mention about teams having to worry about, you having to game plan for individual players, right? That's when you know that a player has really come into his own, and Liam McKinnon, I think, has certainly got to that stage.
And here he comes again with the squared ball. Crossing that one in, Sorensen will provide clearance.
And all the coaches in this league also know about the quality of Sebastian Velasquez, dealing with that injury earlier this season. Has seen his minutes limited, but coaches in this league know what he can do when he gets space to be able to do so.
Scarlett gets bested by Sorensen, and then the shirt tug will mean it's a free kick for the Independents. And you mentioned Sebastian Velasquez coming back. Both these teams have some players returning to health, which means there are other guys who have been stepping up and playing in those starting roles that may be going back to the bench once again. And you imagine that's going to probably irritate those guys and drive up intensity and training a little bit as they look to continue to prove themselves. And talking to both these coaches about it, Rick Wright mentioned that obviously it's hard to keep all these guys happy. They all want to start, and you want them to do that. You want them to have that attitude. He mentioned that training sessions have been incredibly intense. Given they had the last weekend off, they had 2 competition days last week where there were some stakes on the line, and I believe they said Duke head coach of the men's soccer team, John Kerr, stopped by and was taken aback by just how intense the training sessions were, even during technical sessions.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you want your training to match as close as you can to the intensity of a match, obviously without getting players potentially injured. But listen, having competition at as many spots as you can is crucial. You want those guys fighting, especially you want those rookies reacting. As mentioned, Ben Zakowski was one, right, that he obviously filled in for Velasquez. He didn't expect to start probably coming into the season, but played so well, he felt perhaps a little aggrieved when he was sent to the bench when Velasquez was back healthy again. But as a coach, you're looking for those character traits, right? You want them to fight for those positions, and the Cup's given some of these coaches the opportunity to rotate quite a bit. Obviously now got a bit of a gap. We had every other week in the Cup. Now we've got 2 weeks between Cup rounds, if not more. So a little more focus now on the league.
Intensity going to be turning up a couple more dials for regular season play as Lee plays it out to the left-hand side. Here's a shot and a goal! And look who it is, Liam McKinnon bags another to his name.
That's a big goal, Mark. Not just in this game, but in the history of Greenville Triumph. We'll get to that in a second. A poor turnover. Obregon not even tracking back. You see him there just standing, and that's a beautiful finish from McKinnon, but just one of those finishes we're used to by now. Hugh Roberts giving him too much space through the legs. I think he's perfected this nutmeg goal, Mark. He just knows when that defender's going to commit, and McKinnon makes them pay.
You mentioned it, you teased it, Ross. Liam McKinnon, now the sole owner of the Greenville Triumph, leading goal scorer across franchise history. What a awesome 2-year, or more so just a 1.5-year stint that this man has had. Grady River Riot celebrates in response.
Oh, what a campaign so far for the youngster out of Villanova.
19 career goals now with Greenville. He was tied with, I believe you said, Labovitz, Leo Castro, and Jake Keegan. It was a clump at the top. But now it's Liam McKinnon alone. Of course, Leo Castro could stay in the race with him. Offside flag will go up on Alvarez. Well, we highlighted the two star goal scorers, and we were wondering which of them would show up. There's still a chance for Juan Carlos Obregon to do so as well, but it's Liam McKinnon who strikes first. The man from Lausanne, Switzerland. His country getting the 1-1 draw with Scotland earlier today.
Keeps Scotland well in the competition after that disappointing first game, to say the least, against Germany. Great goal by Jordan Shaqiri in that one. Similarly, coming off a giveaway in the midfield. So what Charlotte did last time out against Chattanooga, we know what they're capable of. This game's certainly far from over. A great start for the home team.
Spielman pushing forward. Spielman still going. Now dishes it out to the right. Obregon shoots, and it's saved by Rankenberg.
That wasn't the easiest of saves for Rankenberg. Alvarez was trying to screen him, did a good job of it. Rankenberg had to grab it at the second opportunity. Well, given away there by Oliver Hald. You have to expect, I think, Mike Jeffries to perhaps attack the right side or the left side, as Greenville see it, of their back four. Oliver Hald. He's made a couple of starts in the cup at centre back, but this is his first start at left back with Tyler Pollock out.
Mike Jeffries mentioned when his team went down 2-0 in that game against Chattanooga that the guys took it upon themselves to just be better and to believe in the team. It wasn't like there was a player or a coach that had to yell something to snap them back into place. He was pleased with how each individual responded to that early deficit. Lee takes a step to the left-hand side and is going to roll out. Took a glance off of Hugh Roberts.
I was going to say, definitely was being very casual there. I thought he was, I missed the touch from Roberts. Wondering why he wasn't keeping it in, now I know.
He had a much closer view of it than we did.
That's true.
Corner kick incoming here for the Greenville Triumph. From the left corner flag, Liam McKinnon, the goal scorer, will be the one on the end of it. McKinnon drives it inside. Leo Castro with a good redirection. McKinnon with a juggling effort. Tries to drag it centrally. And it's cleared outward.
Saw Castro score from the set piece last week. Lovely flicked header here and a good save. Reaction save by Pack. Had to get those hands up quickly. Jamie Smith was looking for the rebound. Alvarez there to hack it away.
Been a bright start for Greenville in this match, and that one will go out wide.
Similar to the last meeting, Mark had so many chances in that first meeting, didn't put any of them away, and they were made to pay. That goal from Obregon, that was the difference in that one. Rick Wright would be happy to see that first big chance put away.
You bring it up, and Rick Wright, in build-up to this game, mentioned he's very careful about how he motivates his guys going into the match, and he talked to Evan Lee and Brandon Fricke, who's typically the captain on the pitch, still working back from an injury. He asked them about if he should bring up that game against Charlotte last time out, and the two of them mentioned that now the guys already know, they're aware of what happened in that game, how disappointed they were in the result.
I think also the fact now with the Cup this year, Spilcevic, I assume the format will change next year with as many teams that are coming into League One, but these teams play each other so often. You know, how far back do you look? 1 game, 2 games, 3 games? That could be the space of just 2 months. So I don't think 1 game matters too much. Honestly, I think there's more like certain things that happen in a game that players remember, rather than perhaps the result.
Austin Pack kept it in play and quickly distributing it to Sorensen. Now it's Spielman on the ball. Jai is able to get that one out. Castro gets tripped up. We're going to get a free kick here for Greenville in a good spot.
He obviously missed the veteran presence of Tyler Polak. Also missed his left-footed delivery on set pieces.
That'll be McKinnon.
Velasquez back.
Velasquez, yeah.
Velasquez, one of those guys that you'd rather have just hanging around the edge of the box looking for scraps, but now you need to use him as a... Uh-oh, that's not a good sign.
Or was it just an Oscar-worthy performance? He's right back up on his feet. I don't know how I feel about that one, Ross, but I mean, this is the better scenario here. This is the best case scenario that it wasn't actually anything significant.
I've seen some free kick shenanigans in the past, but that was taking it to the next level there, Margaret. If it was just to get the Charlotte players to freeze, perhaps, it didn't work.
That was definitely an interesting one.
Well, especially for a guy that's just coming off. It wasn't a knee injury, but the last thing... Somebody should perhaps tell the Greenville fans next time that's going to happen, because I'm sure they had their hearts in their throats. Jimmy Smith, we've seen him score from open play from this distance.
Smith takes the shot and it'll skip wide, but did it glance off of the wall? It did. It'll be another corner kick for Greenville. They'll continue to pour it on here. Jamie Smith trying to do just that, recreate that long distance goal he scored against Tormenta when they played here at Paladin Stadium, and it was on that same goal. I'll play this one short. Here comes the driving service, skips a couple of times. Smith heads it up, and it'll fall on the roof of the net. Coming up on Wednesday, June 26th, Birmingham Legion FC travels north to the Motor City to take on Detroit City FC in an Eastern Conference clash at 7 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. Speaking of
Birmingham, their women's team scored a late goal to beat Greenville Liberty early today. W League continues. Obviously, we've got Super League starting in a couple of months. Exciting times.
USL continues to balloon in both the men and women's side of things. I also saw the Super League make an agreement with Peacock just recently. Alvarez takes the shot himself. It's off the right post. Oh, so close for Alvarez.
Well, Gunther Rankenberg was out of position and was scrambling back. Had to just stop midway back to the goal. Got caught flat-footed and that didn't even move on that shot from Alvarez. First warning shot here.
Herrera knocks this one over. It's McKinnon. Lion McKinnon. He's denied by Pack.
Good work by Austin Pack. McKinnon just the slight heaviest of touches to get it too close to Pack. Too much pace for Spielman to handle. Pack did well coming off his line, making himself big.
Mike Jeffrey said it, to play this Greenville team, they'll have to be locked in for 90 minutes. He mentioned that the Triumph are getting healthier. They're super dynamic. He mentioned that offensively, they focus around Leo Castro, but those guys moving around him are just as dangerous. Of course, Lion McKinnon now leading the league in goals scored and has had himself a couple of chances in this match already. Has got an injury.
Scarlett, I think.
That's McKinnon.
McKinnon on the other side now.
They have a propensity to do that.
Yeah,
Switch ends, swingers.
We weren't sure which side either of them would line up. Both of them spent most of the time on the left-hand side this year. This one is a real injury, I think, Mark.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just stepped on his foot.
Took a stamp from Noah Pilato, former teammates last season. No ill will meant by them.
Seems to be walking okay. See worry with the stuff on the feet. Not much protection on top of your foot there.
It's one you're going to feel later, though, if you're not feeling it already. Pack gets that one away. Sorensen has to do everything he could to keep it in play, but it wasn't enough. Will be Schultz with the throw-in.
Nate Schultz, good work here in the corner, earned himself a throw.
Castro heading this one in. Scarlett trying to return the favor. Alvarez will knock it back up, and now Wu colliding there with Obregon. He's ailing a little bit from that.
Yeah, Obregon, certainly a physical presence. Good to see center backs trying to give it back to him a little bit, perhaps. That's what's great about soccer. Him and McKinnon, such very different players. Physically, style that they play, always around the ball, always around the penalty box in space. Charlotte haven't had much opportunity to get the ball into space in the final third just yet.
Schultz able to wind around and get to that ball. Now here's Scarlett going forward. Zion Scarlett, 3 jerseys about him, and he draws the foul. I believe that's Spielman once again. He's already had a couple of fouling moments in this game, and it looks like he's going to go into the books.
Yeah, Nick Spielman, he's been caught for pace a couple of times already tonight. This one he just caught too far up the field. You see Scarlett wisely slowing things down. He's waiting for McKinnon, I think, to make a run. Spielman clumsily, not for the first time tonight, into the back. That'll earn him the yellow card.
The yellow card brought to you by GSP International Airport. And we've got another free kick here for Greenville. It's been pretty lopsided so far. The Triumph with the choice of opportunities. Velasquez rifles that one, not far off target.
Yeah, worth a shot. I was trying to catch Austin Pack napping at the near post. Remember David Raya, now of Arsenal, when he's playing for Brentford, letting in a very similar goal in a championship playoff game a few years ago. Just wasn't ready. Got beaten from even further distance out at the near post.
Jai gets there before Chapa Herrera could. Obregon. Bounces out to the right-hand side. Here's Dimmick. Charlotte trying to establish some possession in the attacking half. So far, they've primarily had to bunker down or attack quickly going down the pitch.
With all Greenville's possession, only one shot on target though so far in the first 25 minutes. Feels like they should have more, Mark. 7 touches in the opponent's box to Charlotte's 3. Similar to the stats in that previous meeting between these two sides.
Dimmick floats this one up, searching for Belmar. Daniel Wu will knock it outward.
25 shots in that previous meeting, Greenville. 14 of them inside the box. Didn't manage to score. One of those weird games you get now and again.
I like to think that usually it balances out. You win some of those, and sometimes you're on the losing end of those.
Of course, it balances out in the end.
Long ball up, caught by Rankenberg. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you Acumen IT for Greenville. Looking at that back line, it's about developing that quick chemistry without the likes of Brandon Fricke or Tyler Polak, because, I mean, those two guys have been on that back line for ages now for Greenville, and to have neither of them there, pretty important. And then meanwhile, for Charlotte, they need to break this Greenville press and slip behind it. So far, haven't been able to do that just yet. It only just takes 1 or 2 opportunities with these guys. Herrera. A bit of a joust there with Alvarez.
One thing Greenville had going for them is that 10-day break. Rick Wright decided early on that Polak wasn't going to take part. Perhaps they were able to work as a unit for a good chunk of those 10 days. That obviously helps as opposed to a short week. You've got 3 or 4 days with limited training. And looked out of place so far, this back line.
That one falls right to Mike Jeffries, who will quickly distribute it.
A foul throw, perhaps? Don't see those too often.
It'll be Greenville now to have possession. So, Fricke and Polak aren't playing. They've got Velasquez getting back into the mix. He's got the ball now. And he'll lob it forward, or more so thread it forward to Zion Scarlett.
Yeah, disappointing ball from Scarlett in the end after a lovely pass from Velasquez. Talked to Rick Wright about Zion Scarlett, what he needs to work on. Accuracy of his crosses was one of them. They just need the middle more of a pullback.
Talked about the shifts in personnel on the back line for Greenville, the consistency of the back line for Charlotte. Charlotte in general doing pretty well health-wise. No one on the injury report. They're feeling pretty good, as well as they can feel at this point in the year. Obviously, guys have got some nicks and bruises and aches, but nothing that's keeping a player from missing any time.
Yeah, Barra, really the only question mark. Not starting again tonight, making his way back from his injury.
He's sitting on the bench, though, working his way back into
we'll certainly see him tonight.
Form. Yeah, certainly.
Saw what him and Obertan did when they came off the bench in that last cup game over at Chattanooga. They might be up there in age, but still plenty of class. Ibarra and Obertan. Trezor and Buyu as well.
Herrera gets that one out, does so well. There's Oliver Hald pushing forward. Hald says to Castro. Put in an effort to bring it down, but couldn't quite collect it.
You know, the Greenville side of things you mentioned, Fricke and Polak, Mohamed Say, still trying to make his way back from the knee injury that's caused him so much trouble all season since off-season surgery.
30 minutes through this one. The difference in this game, a goal by Liam McKinnon in the 9th minute, assisted by Evan Lee. His first assist of the season. And Jai with a great move there. A lot of Greenville jerseys around him. Now Sorensen, one-on-one with Schultz. Sorensen gets the ball in, but way too much air underneath it, and it's out for a Greenville throw. Tune into ESPN2 on Friday, July 5th for a USL Championship showdown between Eastern Conference rivals Charleston Battery and Birmingham Legion FC at 7 p.m. Eastern. Birmingham Legion getting a lot of those games on the major networks.
I did their cup debacle against Tampa Bay earlier this season.
What a game that was.
Absolute chaos. There's a former League One man, Enzo Martinez.
Alvarez making a four-way forward. Alvarez decides to shoot. Knocked away with two hands by Rankenberg. It's Alvarez again. Now with the cross. Belmar couldn't get there. Obregon brought it down, then gets bumped into by Rankenberg. Ref says nothing there, but Obregon still on the turf. Here's a look at this whole sequence again.
I think it was more Rankenberg running into Obregon. I meant to say former Charlotte Independence man, Enzo Martinez. Sorry. Not League One. He played for them before they came into League One, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
He was there at 21. I think he left the year they came down. Always a fun player to watch.
Alvarez knocks that one out of play.
Enzo Martinez, one of those guys you love to have on your team, but you hate to play against. Every team needs one of those. I don't know if either of these teams really has one. I don't have too many villains. Jamie Smith, maybe.
Potentially.
One of those guys that gets under your skin.
It's the kind of guy, especially when it comes to those games near the end of the season or into the postseason, that can really have a positive effect on the team they're playing on.
Good work by Njai there. He's such a big, lanky body, similar to Omar Sis. Hard to get around. Chapahura just found that out.
Now as these leagues continue, these teams in this league continues to grow, Ross, some of these clubs that have been in it for a while still have some interesting developments happening, like at the GSP airport.
Yes, fun one.
The Triumph Tap Room is opening up tomorrow, which is a soccer-themed restaurant at the airport in Greenville, a restaurant and bar, which is, of course, in partnership with the Greenville Triumph and the Liberty.
Anything that gets the word out there. Even 6 years in, hey, we have a pro soccer team here. Everybody's going to go through the airport.
Obregon goes down. Ref says nothing once again.
Well, Greenville do sometimes go to Charlotte and get out of there rather than have to make the connection and make their travels. See, there'll be a lot more travel next year. As many teams as we're getting in. Stoppage here. Referee Santos.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at halftime, about some of the news around expansion in the league. Got some new stadium locations, new crest reveals, all fun stuff. We got a big jump coming up this next season, Ross.
Yeah, we talked about the cup format change. Right now, enough teams, potentially up to 19, right? Next year, perhaps in USL League One, that would be 36 games total if you did the balanced schedule. Perhaps we get League Two involved. Perhaps a little knockout cup rather than the format we've had this year, which was necessary, right, to get to the. I think everybody loves the balanced schedule. necessary to get up to the amount of games they needed to. We'll see what happens next year. Hopefully championship decides to get involved as well.
Would add to that Jägermeister Cup excitement for sure. Schultz plays this one out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for Charlotte. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
Oh, an action here. 10 minutes since our last shot of any kind. Was that one off target from Velasquez? Big one tomorrow. Madison hosting Omaha on Galazzo. Part of the crew bringing you that doozy. These top 4 teams just trying to separate themselves a little bit from the rest of the field.
Yeah, that one should be a lot of fun. Omaha and Madison have just been quality this season.
Madison with a +10 goal difference. Union Omaha +9. Only one loss between the two of them. Madison still the lone undefeated side in League One. 3 of their last 5. Let's have Omaha. See Charlotte having trouble finding their way through this Greenville midfield at the moment. And that's an awful giveaway.
Scarlett with Sorensen tracking back.
Sorensen did a good job getting back there, although perhaps Scarlett should have just got on his horse.
Velasquez. I've seen it inside. Now Velasquez shoots and it sputters over top. Not far off target. A nice little exchange between veterans there. Leo Castro and Sebastian Velasquez.
Tight space too. Velasquez, all he could really do was try to chip at it. Not sure how much of that he meant, but he was caught just impact napping a little bit.
Schultz parries that one outward. Sorensen, who's had himself an active first half thus far. I'd say for the most part, he's pulled his weight pretty well.
Charlotte with the edge in possession, 56.7% at the moment, but under 60% passing actually in the Greenville half, which has led sloppy there from Scarlett.
See Mike Jeffries talking to Ryan JJ on the sideline right now.
I wonder if MJ, looks like he's limping a little bit in the midfield here at the moment. We'll see if there's a change there before the break. As a coach, you'd love to be able to get to the break, but have some time, a little more time to think about and see, assess the injury situation. But it looks like maybe having a swap here before the break, not ideal because he uses up one of those one sub opportunities out of the 3.
Alvarez, that one eked through. Now it's Greenville on the prowl once again. Velasquez with a lot of room to work with. Against the retreat.
He's looking for help from Nate Schultz. Right fullback, but he was caught a little back defending before that giveaway. A long way to go.
Center back pairing today of Daniel Wu and Jamie Smith. Ball comes in and Jai stamps on it. Spielman sends it forward for Alvarez. Goes out to the right-hand side. Johnson with the cross, looking for Obregon. Those are the two that connected and scored in the previous matchup between these two teams. Obregon with a turn. Back up top, Spielman. To former Triumph player Noah Pilato. Pilato knocking that one in, chested down by Hald. And Rankenberg can kill some time here. I talked to Mike Jeffries a little bit about Noah Pilato. He mentioned that he's a great character, has tremendous work rate. Mentioned that he makes the game really simple with his decision-making and his passes. Mentioned that in comparison to his time at Greenville, he plays as more of a connector in the middle for Charlotte and doesn't get as far forward as he would sometimes with Greenville. As we are going to get that substitution now. Ryan JJ comes into the game, and Bashir and Jai will step off. You never want to make a first half substitution, but when you do, usually it's by necessity. JJ, the Frenchman, steps onto the pitch.
JJ, very comfortable replacement there. DM almost is available as well, obviously still dealing with that. Was an apparent arm injury, had a cast on when he came off the bench last week. It was a monster thing.
Charlotte looking to find something here at the end of the half. Schultz able to get the better there of Alvarez.
It was a good first half, Nate Schultz.
Velasquez tangled up with JJ. Now spray it out wide to Hald. Ryan McKinnon scoring his 7th goal in league play this season. His 10th when you add in Jägermeister Cup competition games. Roberts plays this back to Pack. He'll boot it up the pitch. Hald's able to chest this one down. Ricker had a lot of good things to say about his passing ability, Oliver Hald. And although he knew that Tyler Pollack was not going to be fit to play today, he felt pretty confident in Hald's performances.
Brought along slowly in his rookie campaign, just as he loved to do. You don't want to throw guys in there too quickly. Although Benzikowski got thrown into the fire relatively quickly when Velasquez got hurt. Showed what he's capable of and why several teams were after him coming out of college. Both managers will be a little frustrated for different reasons at the break here. Rick Wright perhaps will think his team should be up at least a couple of goals with quality possession they've had. Passes like that just going a little wayward in that final third.
Chances that have just escaped them. Well, Charlotte gotten on the doorstep a couple of times, but haven't been able to truly knock down the door. There was that one opportunity that Gunther Rankenberg had to make a stop on.
One hit the post too. Charlotte certainly had their moments as well in this half. It's certainly been a half played mostly in the middle third.
JJ knocks it out to Dimmick.
Quick shout out tonight to former Inter Miami two-man Ian Frey. First game in almost a year for Inter Miami after tearing his ACL. Scored a goal tonight, Mark.
Wow.
Shout out to him, local man from South Florida. Also plenty of action in the USL League One. His first year back in 2020. Missed out on all the fun last year, unfortunately, or most of the fun.
McKinnon takes a shot. Wide left for Liam McKinnon.
Just perhaps snatched at that a little bit. See his reaction. Yeah, Plenty of things to talk about here at the break for both coaches, as we mentioned. Feels like Greenville have had the edge in this first half, but stats won't tell you that, though.
The fourth official has indicated 3 minutes of stoppage.
Yeah, 3 minutes of stoppage time before we wrap things up in the first half of action.
8 shots on target for Greenville. Excuse me, 8 shots total, 3 on target. We'll get to the rest of those stats at the half. The XG, only .37. JJ takes down Velasquez, not for the first time since he's come on. Charlotte with more final third entries, interestingly enough, 22-17. It's only resulted in 6 touches inside the opposition's box. One of those stats I love to look at. How many times have you had the ball in the opposition box, and what have you done with it? The game sort of limping to the break here a little bit. It is warm, as you mentioned, Mark. No water break. Did we have it? I don't think we had a water break, did we?
No, he did not.
Hydration break, sorry. Uh-oh.
Evan Lee with a chance on goal, but Austin Pack with a twitch reaction.
Austin Pack with not his first big save of the first half. Another defensive error, letting Evan Lee in, not known for his pressing ability.
Ryan JJ took a tumble near midfield. He was fouled. Puts it back into play as we're halfway through the allotted 3 minutes. Sorensen looking to see if his side can author another chance here before both teams go to the dressing room. Some tight passing. Joel Johnson, his 201st appearance as a Jack, at number 200 against the Red Wolves. So big congratulations to him.
And pops up all over the pitch. Just looking at his heat map from the last game, he'd be on the left, the right, the middle. He's supposed to be playing on the right, but he loves to drift in and just get involved wherever he can. Juan Obregon, certainly a relatively quiet first half. Rick Brown will be happy to see that. Jamie Smith's dad, Dean, will be a happy man so far tonight. Charlotte with a 1-0 lead over Orlando, and plenty of MLS action tonight. A few USL Championship games going on as well. 4 of those this evening, including a late one in Oakland.
And there's your whistle from Rafael Santos after 45+ minutes in a game between two teams this time around. And we'll start off with possession. And here we go. Will the home team hang on to this 1-0 lead, or will the Jacks find a response?
Greenville have only had a halftime lead twice this season in League One, and they've won both those games. And Charlotte failed to score a first half goal in 5 of their 9 games. Only Tormentor failed more often. Here's Leo Castro now.
Castro hits the brakes, plays it back up top. Velasquez winding around, back heel pass. Castro, way too much juice on that one.
Just leaned back a little bit. Just had too much time. Leo Castro seems to be better sometimes when he has less time to make a decision.
Roberts gets that one away, but not effectively. Giving the ball back to the Greenville Triumph.
These two teams yet to tie in their previous 8 meetings. See if that streak continues tonight.
And they play each other, these two teams, like 3 points. None of this sharing a point silliness.
Hald with the fancy footwork. It's poor there from Alvarez. Really should have cleared his lines. No foul there. JJ Castro.
Here's Herrera. Can pivot around. And wins another throw in here. Greenville on the attack here early to start the second half.
That's the first little bit of flash from Oliver Hald of what Rick Wright has told us about him. Very talented technically. So a little nutmeg there and a beautiful little turn. That wasn't the best there.
Have we? We got 2 substitutions to account for to start the second half for the Independents. Fabrice and Ga in the game for Anton Sorensen. Meanwhile, Omar Sis, stepping in for Noah Pilato. Two adjustments for Mike Jeffries.
Most importantly, that means 2 of their substitution windows gone, which with Ibarra and Buyu and Oberton still on the bench means they all have to come on at the same time, or you don't put them all on in the second half. Some food for thought from Mike Jeffries here in the final 45. Also depending on what the score is as things go here.
Omar Sis interrupting Velasquez there and earning the glance to get the ball back to Charlotte. Joel Johnson couldn't keep that one in bounds. Had to play it pretty tight to the touchline there with Nate Schultz right beside him.
Omar Sis, JJ played together quite a bit last season. So very comfortable in that double pivot spot in front of the back 4. Omar Sis perhaps loves to get a little more forward than Jai. Haven't seen how the cast is looking at tonight. Oh, there it is. Different shade of blue.
This one falls for McKinnon, and Austin Pack coming well out. This needs to hit the emergency button there. And now it's Rankenberg way outside his penalty area.
Get a bit of keeper tennis here. Good work from Pack to make the correct decision in a split second there, and did.
We get a whistle here. The offside flag goes up. Our head official, Rafael Santos, looking to keep the peace here.
Charlotte have won the 3 of the last 4 in the series between these 2 teams, but they've all been in Charlotte. They've never beaten Greenville in league play in Greenville.
Among those wins, of course, the playoff matchup last year, the quarterfinal victory.
It was a fun one, that game. Greenville looked like they had it early, and then Charlotte just came out, bam, bam, bam. We'll see, made the final in the end, losing to their in-state rivals.
Knee with the outside of his boot. Just knocks that one forward.
Alan Gavilanes had the first goal in that game for Greenville. He had the record for goals plus assists until that McKinnon early goal tonight. Now is the record.
Dimmick plays it to the top. The header towards goal by Joel Johnson. It wasn't too hard for Gunther Rankenberg to handle.
Joel Johnson, I'm not sure if he realized how much time he had. It was a long way out to be the professional goalkeeper with your head. Perhaps could have brought it down, had a crank, but happily for Rankenberg, he decided to try and beat him with his head.
Daniel Wu, one of the young defenders playing today for the Greenville Triumph. Ryan McKinnon breaks through a challenge. Scarlett tried to sneak that one out to Schultz. It's the right idea, but Alvarez was privy to it. Now Smith. As that one deflected away by Alvarez, Obregon couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, that was poor from Scarlett. He had Schultz racing outside of him. making the simple pass. He just got a little sloppy with it. One of those ones when your fullback comes running past you and says, thanks for that. Nate Schultz was on his horse and had to turn around and go right back the other way.
Zion Scarlett, at just 20 years old, the youngest player on the pitch for Greenville, and also currently the youngest player on the pitch in the match right now. Still a lot of room for growth there for young Scarlett. Also a lot of growth right now happening in the Greenville area as they try to increase sporting competition. We'll get to that in a moment. Liam McKinnon enters the 18. Tried that sneaky shot he likes to take, and this time he does go for it, but straight into the hands of Austin Pack.
Yeah, McKinnon thought about striking it there, changed his mind. A little bit of a screen from Evan Lee. Got in between him and Hugh Roberts, right at Austin Pack. Probably his easiest save of the night.
Send congratulations out to the YMCA of Greenville. Just received a $100,000 donation from the Greenville Triumph and the Greenville Liberty. That's their first donation through their soccer foundation to help the YMCA's youth sports program. Over 13,000 children participate with the YMCA program here in Greenville. Soccer, the most popular sport out of all of them, but the donation bolsters all the programs, not just the soccer program.
That's an awesome thing to see. Six-figure donations coming from USL League One clubs. That's pretty serious. Well done to everybody involved with that project.
Dimmick. That's McKinnon. The outside of his boot gets this to Evan Lee. Evan Lee having to shrug off some contact, and it gets away from it.
Yeah, Evan Lee, you can see what he was trying to do. Not sure if he knew he had two Independence players right behind him. Just took that heavy touch, perhaps influenced by the pressure from them. Perhaps should have got rid of it a little earlier. Didn't have a ton of help inside him. Right to this Greenville backline tonight. You wouldn't know, you almost wouldn't know Juan Arbogán was on the field. Mark in his first 55 minutes. I remember calling his name once in the first half, but very few and far between the chances for the dangerous striker. But of course, you do things like this.
Alvarez still with the ball at his feet. Alvarez takes a shot! Excellent save by Reichenberg. Charlotte still have possession. Belmar sneaks it in for Sis. That's a wonderful turn. Johnson curls it. Not too far off, and Joel Johnson, he can bend it from outside the 18.
Yeah, the first time Jonathan Reichenberg has really been called into action tonight. Stepped up to the plate here. Alvarez 20 yards out. It's a good height. I mean, it's a good strike, a comfortable height for Reichenberg. Saw it the whole way. Still a solid save for a man still in the midst of a goalkeeping battle.
Again, the chance to play in a league match. The idea is to alternate Reichenberg on Jägermeister Cup games and Garner on league matches, but when you get a tight week like this, then sometimes it makes sense to give one to each, especially if you're still leaving it up in the air for one of them to really take the reins.
Yeah, we'll see now with the bigger gaps between the rounds in the Cup whether Rick Ryan will still go with that sort of alternating system with Reichenberg and Garner. They've both shown to be plenty capable of starting in this league.
See Omar Sis on the ball, returning from injuring his arm. Talked to Mike Jeffries a little bit about how competition builds when you get those guys coming back from injury. He said, yeah, it definitely leads itself to competition. He mentioned each situation's a little bit different as far as how it motivates individual players and whatnot. You go into every week hoping for high competition and drive from your guys to help make it difficult to decide who's going to be in that starting 11. He said that his guys are all very motivated and they all believe they should be starting. He said if they didn't, then they're in the wrong business. There's only 11 spots every single week, so people are going to be left unhappy. I think especially for those players whom were starting, and now there's another player that they have to compete with, maybe a guy who was starting before they were injured. Castro to Herrera. We got swiped a little bit by JJ, but no foul play according to our ref. Belmar sends the cross inside. Knocked away by Hald. Excuse me, that's Nate Schultz.
Good pinch in there by Schultz. There's a couple of Independence players looking at that back post. Stayed in.
McKinnon. This time gets turned around by JJ. It'll be a free kick.
That was a good foul by Ryan JJ. Did it very slyly, just hooked him. Stopped the quick transition going the other way.
Scarlett. Not get by Nga. Fabrice Nga, proven to be solid defensively. JJ getting harassed by Herrera. And effectively boxes him out and wins the ball back for Greenville.
It's been a bit of a rough night for Zion Scarlett. Problem with Greenville, they don't have a ton of natural wide players. You see in the system 4-2-3-1, you don't need a ton of guys with pace on the wing. You have to get those fullbacks going forward, which they certainly do have. Even Anderson, perhaps the only option on the bench. More of a fullback that can play midfield. He's a chance for him to redeem himself.
Now it's Velasquez into Castro, and he gets that one tapped away. Now the emphatic clearance will go out for another Greenville throw-in. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL Access Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app.
Woo. Yeah, good work there by Wu. This time he's been under serious pressure tonight, really going backwards. Nice little shoulder shimmy to open things up. Ooh. Referee Castro is going to let him play there. Santos, excuse me. Brought it back for the foul on Joel Johnson. So may have a substitution.
There's a point to the sideline. Looks like it may be Velasquez. And Scarlett coming off. And for the young Hayden Anderson and the young Ben Zakowski. So Zakowski, of course, will come in for Velasquez, and Anderson in for McKinnon. Or not for McKinnon, for Scarlett. And you mentioned really the only guy who could sub in for Scarlett. These substitutions brought to you by Spinks.
He brings that danger as well from the long throws. Just the two like-for-like subs, as you mentioned. There's Zakowski now filling in for Velasquez, as he did. Listen, Velasquez played his first League One 90 minutes in that last League One game against Chattanooga. Played 90 minutes in the last Tormenta game. Is still working his way back, perhaps to full fitness. So I only went 45 in that game against Chattanooga. 70 against Tormenta, so still working his way back. And they're going to be very careful with him. I know how hamstring injuries go in this sport. Zakowski obviously showed to be a very capable replacement for Velasquez when he went down injured. It's a chance for Ben here to show his wares.
Fabrice Nga will toss this one back into the fray. "60 minutes through, Ryan McKinnon, the sole goal scorer in this game, now has sole possession of the league's lead in goals scored with 7. The chatter has already started around him, Ross.
Yeah, listen, this is part of having success in League One. We've seen it with so many of the great goal scorers. Greg Hurst, the Trevor Ammons, right? 2 years, most contracts in this League One within the club option for 2. At that point, these youngsters will be looking to make a little more cash at the next level. See what happens with Lyon. There's certainly be plenty of suitors.
Certainly
this winter.
They're already starting to line up for Greenville from what we've been told. But right now, they're focused on his growth and his performance in this season right now, which makes sense for Greenville to do.
So we've seen it a little more perhaps at the USL Championship level, but a lot of these teams now, these teams are businesses, right? They want to make money. Part of the way they can do that is sell players on. Hopefully with another sell-on clause after that. See what Orange County have done at the USL Championship level. We've seen figures being exchanged between Championship clubs and League One clubs, most of them not disclosed, but it all helps, Mark, if you can get a little mid-5-figure chunk of change for selling a player. I think most owners in League One would take it.
Certainly. And we're starting to see more and more, especially on the striker end of things, these League One guys translating up to the next level. I mean, Trevor Ammon has made that jump smoothly.
With that said, right, they have to sign a new deal and then get a lot of the League One sides, they've done it, but they haven't really said how they've done it. See, he's free to go to any team if he's out of contract, but some of these players have been nice enough to sign a deal and then be sold. Talking to Ian Cameron, Tormentor recently, he wanted to sign a 3-year deal, almost 2 with an option. Give these players a little more chance to develop, and obviously that saves you having to worry about that extra contract at the end just to get some cash for them. Strange there from Jamie Smith.
Although Lyon McKinnon might be turning a lot of heads, we talked with Mike Jeffries a little bit about, is this Jacks team flying under the radar a little bit as far as some of the contenders in the league this season? Obviously Madison and Omaha garnering a lot of the attention in that game tomorrow. Justifiably has a lot of hype going up into it. And Mike Jeffries mentioned, you know what? I'm fine with that. You got to focus on the good stories in the league, and Madison and Omaha have been unbelievable at this point. They just want to build off a solid season last year, and
here are 2 guys that can make some noise.
Oh,
make some stories.
Joel Johnson is out. Gabriel Oberton has quite many stories to tell, I imagine, across his career. Will come in, and Tracer Mbuyu stepping in for Carlton Belmar.
Also for Charlotte, they did keep a large core of their talent from last season. And it's kind of why they went along last year. They just kind of hung around. Watch out.
Austin Pack, one of those returnees.
They weren't one of the top 3 teams. They just did what Greenville did, really. Just hung around in the middle of the playoff race there and then got themselves to the final, winning 2 games.
See if these substitutions can provide that spark for the Jacks. And a look at the outside perspective, they're focused on getting results. That's what Mike Jeffries said to us.
I spoke to Mike about Gabriel Oberton. See it getting up there in soccer years these days, but he's still loving this soccer, not looking to get into coaching just yet. Obviously, certainly one of the best resumes of any player in USL League One history. His time in the Premier League. Manchester United, Newcastle. See if he can find a way. Get Charlotte a point here at least, if not 3. He wouldn't put it past them, Mark. Greenville haven't had a ton of chances here in the second half to try and get that key second goal. Just 1 shot so far since the break. Was on target, it was right at Austin Pack. Charlotte with 3 shots so far in this second half.
McKinnon lofting that one up, looking for Anderson. This one given away. Herrera pops this one up for Evan Lee. A flashy display. Couldn't quite get it on target. Evan Lee fishing for his second goal of the season.
May have earned himself a corner, and apparently got a deflection on the way through.
That will be the case. So once again, it's Lyon McKinnon at the left corner flag. Chapa Herrera is right there. Might find something on the set piece here. McKinnon sends this one in, rocketed back towards goal by Smith, but not on target. USL League One is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLLeague1.com for complete USL TV listings. Roberts. Not quite getting to tense time yet for Charlotte, but it's impending as Mbuyu gets his first chance to get his feet on the ball.
Still looking for his first goal of the season, Treasure Mbuyu.
Well, he's been so dangerous in this league. Had a season where he was in the running for Golden Boot.
He really hasn't been able to get things going offensively yet this season.
Anderson, all across the middle and into the arms of Austin Pack. Overtime. A little exchange with Alvarez. Fake returning the favor. Zakowski keeping that one in play. It's Anderson now, a loose touch, and Fabrice Nga sniffed that one touch out.
Oh.
Got himself onto it. That's a loose touch from Sis. Now Evan Lee has the ball. Lee tried to thread the needle.
You can see his reaction. He saw that slightest of openings, but Spielman closed it at the last second.
Now it's Nga with a head full of steam. Over to overtime. Cuts inside, he could shoot from here. They'll go to Dimmick. Here's another giveaway. Castro, a lot of room to operate. Surveys options as he brings it down. He's got Lee to his right. Castro still going. Castro tries the shot. Roberts in his way. And now Castro called for the foul.
A chance to break. You can see Leo Castro feeling that run, as was Evan Lee. He's got up and down a ton tonight as well.
A lot of huff and puff in what has been a persistently hot evening in Greenville. Started out around 85 degrees and it hasn't gotten much better. That's just what the summer brings you. And Ga once again to Alvarez. There's an opportunity to Mbuyu. For a couple deflections, it'll be a corner kick. Jamie Smith, very animated in response to that decision.
When you were right, you can hear disagreeing with that decision.
Alvarez. Service comes inside, and Schultz heads that one out. It's Dimmick on the throw-in now on the other end. Oberton lays it right back to him. Nice there from Oberton. Can he get her around Hald? No, he cannot. Oliver Hald doing well there.
Great work from Oliver Hald. Shoulder to shoulder with the big, those are a pair of shoulders.
Oh boy, yes they are.
To Oberton. Slightly giveaway for a corner.
May easily be the broadest player in USL
Yes.
League One.
Not easy to get around, but Oliver Hald did a great job there.
Here's Nga on the corner kick. Perry back in centrally. Wu gets his first touch on it, and then he finishes the job. Now Alvarez! The Rocket well off frame.
Gabby Oberton was asking him to go wide with it, but Alvarez saw a chance to smash one, just couldn't put it on target. 18 minutes remaining here, Charlotte. With those substitutions now, they're going to give it their all here in the final 18 minutes, as we said. Got to be careful. Caught going the other way. Another substitution coming up. The home team, Pascal Corvino.
He'll come in for Leo Castro. The substitution brought to you by Spinks. I think that goes to show you the kind of change that's being made here. Castro, striker, Corvino. Going to provide more stability in the middle of the field.
Yeah, McKinnon will just go a little more centrally now. Play the lone striker role. Looks like Zakowski will go wide. We've seen Zakowski a little bit out wide this season. Corvino will go to the right-hand side. Excuse me, Corvino will go central, excuse me. Help Chapa Herrera there lock things up in the middle of the park.
Roberts, what a nice ball that is. And Mbuyu squares it centrally, and it's knocked over top for a corner kick by Schultz.
I'm not sure if that's what Nate Schultz meant to do. I'm sure he was trying to clear it past the post. Instead, almost put it in the back of his own net.
Corner for Charlotte.
Charlotte turning up the pressure here, as we all expected.
Alvarez from the left corner flag. Driven ball, deflects right back out to him. Puts this one back in. That one more danger of a shot than it was a cross. Now got a goal kick. So that substitution for Pascal Corvino and for Leo Castro is our adjustment of the match, presented by Upstate Spine and Sport. Ross sort of kind of laid out exactly how the formation shifts and changes with that addition of Corvino. He's a player that Rick Wright has sort of bemoaned having to leave out of the 11 at times. He's been really stepping it up in training, and has just been the odd man out at times as far as guys in the middle of the pitch that are getting that starting opportunity. And he also mentioned that Zakowski and Anguiano are other midfielders who are also in that well of players who can all go into that midfield. It's just so tough for this Greenville team to get all of these guys out there.
Rick Wright and Evan Lee having an animated conversation. Well, that ball played to Zakowski. I think Evan Lee had a disagreement about where that ball should have been played.
Herrera. Corvino gets tangled up there. Play will go on. Here's Oberton. Schultz trying to professional foul, but Oberton's too strong. Oberton centrally to Nga. And Jamie Smith will provide clearance.
Nate Schultz, as you said, tried to make a professional foul. He came the other way now, Greenville. A few tight legs out there. Things are opening up a little bit.
And Lyon McKinnon now playing more at the top of the formation with Leo Castro subbing out. Charlotte find an equalizing goal in this one. Alvarez in the corner. Has to put in all effort to keep it in play, but he doesn't do so.
thought he had. But I've been wrong in the past, and again, Alvarez not complaining about it too much.
Either he's just flat out not complaining about it or doesn't have the energy to at this point in time. It seems to be a game that's running a lot of these players pretty thin.
Charlotte's had 69% of the possession over the last 15 minutes. Seeking that equalizer.
Herrera. That's that one away to Lee. Sikowski goes down, but Greenville retains possession. Now Corvino will switch it over to Anderson. He keeps it in play. Hayden Anderson. Now to McKinnon. Mixed a lot of defenders. It's Corvino. Ryan McKinnon. He's on the ground. Sikowski tries to deflect it on goal. It'll be a goal kick. Ryan McKinnon still sitting down. And we're going to get a whistle from Rafael Santos.
Stretch out that left leg. Ryan McKinnon, the one that he scored the goal with earlier.
Not only now does he lead the league in goals scored, he came in second in the league behind Jess Obregon with 24 shots, and also was second in the league with 60 crosses, Ross. So not only is he a guy who's getting a lot of chances on goal, but he's also a guy who's trying to give his teammates a ton of chances. Of course, he plays in that wing spot, so you would think he would have the opportunity to get those crosses, but...
Yeah, he loves to work in those channels. Take another look at it here. Yeah, just a bit of contact on the outside of the knee there, perhaps. And again there, that was the right leg. The first one was like a dead leg, kind of almost got him on the side. You know, get those Charlie horses around the side of your thigh. Hopefully that's all it is. Seems to be able to walk it off. Trainer looking for that signal. It looks like maybe a substitution, so it's an interesting one because Rick Wright certainly doesn't have any striking options left on the bench. So it might just be a park the bus situation here for these final 10+ minutes. Greenville try to hold on for these three.
Reesinga knocks it back for Spielman. It's JJ now. McKinnon on the sideline is technically a man advantage right now for Charlotte. Spielman over to Dimmick. Dimmick floats it up, and it's cleared away by Schultz. Now rolls out for a throw. Alvarez. A nifty touch, but couldn't get by Evan Lee.
Evan Lee might fancy his chances up top.
From Buyo. Bested by Lee. It's Evan Lee once again. And McKinnon, who is back in the game, is now back on the ground.
He's been in the wars tonight, has Liam. He's going to see that as a tactic, I'm sure, from more of the physical teams. Second half of the season here. And his injury troubles in his rookie season at times. Appears to be all right here. Grabbing that left hamstring now. Will be the substitution now, perhaps.
Makes his way back over to the sideline, this time over to his bench. And in comes Carlos Anguiano, another one of those aforementioned midfielders who's fighting tooth and nail to get out onto the pitch. The substitution brought to you by Spinks.
Phoenix Rising man. More like a 4-6 now, 4-6-0 for Greenville. Unless they just throw a willing body up top.
There's Evan Lee.
Zakowski might go central.
It's Lee once again. Daniel Wu, well stepped to that one. Sets him up nicely once again going forward.
I mentioned earlier, center back pairing tonight for Greenville has been solid. Brandon Fricke, obviously one of the leaders of this team, captain when he's around. He's been out now for only a couple of months. They really haven't missed him. I'm sure they've missed his presence, right? But they look pretty solid at the back in most games.
Anguiano stays on his feet there. He has the ball once again. Herrera. Grabs Anguiano. Oberton giving chase to several of these Greenville midfielders. This game is winding down. It's Lyon McKinnon's goal. That is the difference in this one. Corvino up to Hald. Game that coming in featured the two top scoring players in USL League One who are tied at the peak in goals scored between Lyon McKinnon and Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. It's McKinnon who now has the sole place atop the mountain for now. Zakowski right along the perimeter of the 18. Sends it centrally. Lee with the volley! And Evan Lee doubles the advantage. Greenville up 2-0 against Charlotte. That one brought to you by the YMCA of Greenville. What a hit by Evan Lee.
Told you might fancy his giving it a go at striker. What a finish, Evan Lee. With the left foot too. He just so calmly stepped up and smashed that one with his weaker foot.
Don't mind me. It's Evan Lee making it 2-0 for Greenville.
With authority.
How about that hit? His second goal in league play, his third goal across all competitions.
As Rick Wright's told us, Evan Lee always reminds him he used to play 10 in college, and you could see a little bit of it coming back there with that left-footed strike.
And now another substitution that's even more needed now for Charlotte. Miguel Ibarra subs in for Hugh Roberts II. They need two quick ones now. Oberton wheeling around several defenders. Gabriel Oberton wins the corner kick.
And this is the team, especially with this personnel on the field right now, that can put two goals together very quickly. Greenville have to maintain their composure here.
More bodies committing forward on this corner kick. They'll play it short. Oberton back to Alvarez. Now Alvarez with the service inside through the hands of Rankenberg and cleared out.
Got away with one there.
Herrera switches the point of attack. Oberton. It's kept in play. I'm not sure if that was the player he was intending to get it to or just sending him running. Either way, it worked out. Obregon. Out wide to Mbuyu. Mbuyu's service floats over top and out. So it'll be a goal kick for the Triumph. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
Yeah, not the sort of delivery come to expect from Trezor Mbuyu there. Obregon sitting in the middle, frustrated figure all night. Hasn't got the service he's needed. Part of that is just because of the way this Greenville back four has played. Greenville now with 6 goals in the final 15 minutes of games. That's the most in League One this season.
Astrick right about do his guys say anything during the game when things get late and you need another goal. He mentioned that when it comes to being locked in like that, you can't turn it on or off, those kind of characteristics. Obregon gets taken down, ref says play on. And now Rankenberg will pick it up. Continue that thought. He mentioned he wants guys who can feel, smell, taste the game, which he said some of his players have laughed at him about for putting it that way.
You understand what he's trying to say, right? Just having that awareness, right, of how the game is going. Daniel Wu claiming he got a elbow. Referee Santos making Wu go to the sideline. He's playing to stop because of him.
As far as leadership and the big presences on this pitch for Greenville. We'll see here the contact. And
Obregon went down rather easily. See a ton of contact between him and Wu, but
yeah,
we start here in the boxes. Greenville will look to finish this one out. A win that would put them top of the table for now.
Guys are very motivated and they don't like losing. That's how Rick Wright explained, describing the mentality of his guys. He said that Evan Lee and Leo Castro both been big as far as leadership presence on the pitch, especially in the absence of Brandon Fricke. He's been more vocal, and Castro just brings that competitiveness. Dimmitt inside for Oberton. Time running out for Charlotte. Alvarez takes a shot, and it glides wide. Got another substitution here for the Greenville Triumph. Hassan Gabo making his 4th appearance of the year. He'll sub in for Oliver Hald, who made his first ever start today in league play. The substitution brought to you by Spinks.
Oliver Hald certainly held his own, that's for sure, against a difficult opponent tonight. That'll give Rick Wright some confidence in his depth at that left back spot. Rankenberg about to get himself a yellow card. He'll take it though.
It's his first yellow card of the season, Gunther Rankenberg. As we approach 90 minutes.
I think he's saying give him much time after the substitution came on.
The referee has issued a caution.
Seeing Miguel Ibarra back in the game is always great, though. For not just Charlotte's fans, but League One fans in general. Is such an exciting player. So we see 5 minutes of stoppage time added onto this one. Been a long recovery to get back. Mike Jeffries said that he's not at 100% yet, but he's match ready. And he's pretty fit. It's more so he's just got to get back up to game speed and getting into the rhythm of the game, because the rhythm is so important to the way Miguel Ibarra plays. And the way Miguel Ibarra plays changes the way that the independents play when he's on the pitch. Just brings a different dynamic. They're happy to have him back.
Yeah, they've certainly missed him. Gets all over the park, even at his age. Can score as well. Speaking of scoring, Alan Gavalanis with a goal from Miami FC tonight in the first 20 minutes. Miami FC obviously had a bit of a rough time in USL Championship. I think it's goal number 4, I think, for Gavi.
And he's been a bright spot on that team, that's for certain. And Mbuyu. Cross comes flying in. It's booted out by Anderson. Got underneath that one. Spielman. Playing it out wide. Alvarez again with the service in. A little bit of a mess there made of it. Daniel Wu and Rankenberg both going for it. Here's JJ. get by Evan Lee. A wind left. Luis Alvarez trying to sneak that one through. Now Omar Sis on the ball. Over to overtime, but a little bit too much enthusiasm on that pass from Sis. Well, the trend looking like it's going to continue here, Ross. When these two teams play, someone gets 3 points, and it's usually the home team.
For sure, yeah, continues Greenville's trend also of alternating wins and losses. 6 games now in USL League One for that.
At least in league play.
League play, correct. It's a big win for Greenville. It's their first win over a top 4 team. They haven't played Omaha yet. So you had that one game against Madison.
A draw early in the season. Sikowski has a man running. He gets it to him. It's Anderson. And Anderson will take it over to the corner. He'll run out more of this clock. And he draws the foul, the free kick for Greenville.
Yeah, sorry, the 2 games against Madison, the loss and the draw. Guevara getting involved a little needlessly. Greenville won't play Madison in the league the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that road trip.
See what happened here. Ibarra, certainly a foul on Alvarez. Too enthusiastic in them. Oh, careful. Alvarez with a sly knee to the head of Hayden Anderson. There wasn't much venom in it, but certainly the frustration coming out. Anderson started with the little tap. Last thing you want to see here is a red card. The last minute of the game that would cause you to miss one match or more. But another solid performance by Greenville. Back in action on Saturday, marked at Knoxville. Then we'll have home games against Lexington and Omaha in the league.
It's a tight turnaround for Greenville. Meanwhile, Charlotte 10 days off before their next game. A home match in the Jägermeister Cup against the Kickers.
It's actually Greenville's last midweek league match of the season. They do have a couple of Fridays, but obviously you don't want to play twice in a weekend. This is the last sort of short week for them. No midweek cup matches either. Until we see the knockout schedule, which perhaps might be midweek.
Alvarez trying to get that by Rankenberg, but Rankenberg falls on top of it. Looking to secure that clean sheet. We keep talking about that competition between him and Garner. Having a good 0 on the scoreboard is always going to help your case. And that will do it. An impressive outing for Greenville. They hang 2 on Charlotte and keep Charlotte